call me George, but I prefer Georgios, particularly when you send me an email and you start with Dear Georgios. So the spell checker changes that to Georgios. Very often I receive emails at work starting Dear Georgios. And I reply, hello, sexy. That's why HR hates me. A little bit about myself. My favorite season is autumn. And I know what you're thinking. Oh, he's so romantic. He likes cuddling with his partner, watching the rain and the leaves falling. But hell no. The sports season is back, guys. Basketball is back in autumn. Do you have any sports fans in the audience?
Yeah.
Yeah. What's your favorite sport? Rugby. Yes. Any other sports? I know nothing about rugby.
Football. NFL.
NFL. Great. How many Americans do you have here? Great. Anyone's football? Yes. Yeah. Basketball? Woo! Yeah. So yeah, football actually is on right now. Brazil is playing. I don't know what we're doing here. But yeah, my favorite sports are football, obviously, basketball, and tennis. And just to clarify, I like watching, not playing, because I'm too slow for football, too short for basketball, and too poor for tennis. Yeah. My favorite sport by far is basketball. I can watch basketball for many hours. And when I watch basketball, I like eating kebab to maximize the pleasure. An activity, I have rebranded this activity into a new sport, which I call the kebabsketball. I know, I consider kebabsketball an extreme sport because I eat extreme portions of kebab. And I know what you are thinking, oh, kebabsketball must be very easy, but no, it requires a lot of skill. Because you need to watch the game on TV while eating kebab, commenting on your phone with your friends, and yelling at the TV all at the same time. And that's not easy. It took me years to master that. The point system of basketball is very easy. The player who eats the most kebab wins. However, any wasted kebab on the floor, on the laptop, or on you is deducted from the final points. If you throw up, you are disqualified, obviously. And the game has similar play style with normal basketball. For example, if you pick your kebab and you put it into a pita bread, that's the famous pick and roll system from basketball. I was too advanced for non-basketball. That's one of my favorites. Yes, and I've really thought about everything about basketball, and I want to make it work. I already contacted sponsors. Yes, Gatorade is on board. Gatorade is going to provide soda drinks for faster digestion and more consumption. However, if a player drinks a lot of Gatorade, then this is considered doping. And players who are going to have like jerseys, but we will replace jerseys with bibs. For obvious reasons. And sportswear companies are allowed to advertise their models. Alright, for example, Nike's Just Do It will replace with Just Eat. What else about the basketball? Yes, and I really want to expand the sport beyond UK to new markets, Southeast Asia market, and particularly Thailand. Thailand for us is a very big market. But however, there will be a slightly different version of the sport there. The participants are going to watch a movie, a very famous movie, about a boat that hit an iceberg and sank while they eat local food. I'm going to call this sport the Titanic. So I'm coming, right? Yeah. And I know what you're thinking right now. I mean, you're okay. Well done, George. That's a great piece of imagination and comedy. I'm not sure about the latter, but I want to prove you that actually basketball is a real thing. And unfortunately, without microphone, let's see if that works. Let's see. Okay, Google. Let's see. What's a second? Okay, Google. All right. What is basketball?
Basketball is a sport that combines watching
but yes. I won the championship at the NBA final after eating 2 portions of kebab with garlic sauce. Okay, the next beat, let's see if that works, might not work, but let's try that. Obviously, kebab is a very big thing for me, and it takes a lot of my time. That's why I hired an assistant. Obviously, yes. And this is my assistant. Let's see if that works. Let me do the introduction. What is your name?
My special nickname is the Google Assistant. Do you want a special nickname for yourself?
Actually, yes. Yeah, a new nickname would be good. Can you call me Georgios?
Sure I can. Your new nickname is Gorgeous.
You know what again? You know something? Let's go for it. Hello, sexy.
Contacting the HR.
No, don't contact the HR. Please, don't do that. Yes, apart from kebab table, she helps me with comedy, for obvious reasons. Yeah. She's quite good. Let me give you an example. That was your best joke.
How do crabs keep in touch with each other? On shell phones.
I'm really sorry. I apologize about it. It was really bad. But it's representative of my type of comedy, which is short and bad quality, like my sexual performance. So, why are you flashing? What do you want to say?
Your jokes are bad. They're shit.
Oh, my jokes are shit? No, lady, you are shit. You listen to me, you are shit, all right?
Text. You are shit. To wife.
No, don't say, you fucking idiot. Don't send that. You fucking.
Sending text. You fucking idiot. To boss.
No, I mean, okay, we can't enough about you. I'll put it back to you in the pocket. Yeah, what else? Yeah, speaking about my wife, yesterday, 1st of December, was a very special day for us. We celebrated 14 years of our relationship. Thank you. And, it's a very special day. Yeah, sorry, I got a little bit. Very special day for us, and that's why I wanted to make her a very special gift. Okay? I know you're curious what I get her, right? Yeah. 3 tickets for tonight's comedy! Special gift. Do you think I'm cheap? No. Do you think I'm cheap? Yes. Come on, why? No. I mean, her favorite comedian is performing. Nicole. She really likes your comedy. And, and after so many years, I can still tell you that I am the man of the dreams. But I know that. So the other day, I woke up full of energy, ready to seize the day. So I got ready to go to the office, and I went for a goodbye kiss. Only to find out she was mad at me. So I had to ask, hey, why are you mad at me? You bastard, you cheated on me. I've never cheated on you. What are you saying? This is mad. Yes, you cheated on me. In my dreams. Okay, that becomes interesting now. In your dreams. Okay, how, when, who, with who? You cheated on me in my dreams with 2 other girls, 2 other sisters. And I'll be honest with you, even in my teenage years, I never dared to have a dream like that. Me having sex with 2 other women. But at that point, on one hand, I was a little bit flattered, okay? Because I never thought that my partner thinks so highly of me sexually and me being able to have sex with 2 other women. But on the other hand, I was very upset. I was very upset about the stereotype that the boy's dream is to have sex with 2 other girls. That's such a stereotype. And that's not what boys want, right? Some boys want care, tenderness, attention, a kiss, a cuddle, a good garlic sauce kebab, and basketball.
on time tonight, right? Whether that was delayed trains, buses, generally slow people on the street, frantically rushing to get here. I can actually picture it now. God damn it! I'm going to miss their one and only joke! I'm joking, they've all got at least 2 jokes in there. I don't know about you, but I hate rushing. And yet I live in London. Let me clarify first though, there's a difference between rushing and walking briskly. Rushing involves sweating, swearing, complete irritability, frantically legging it to get to your destination. It involves running. Walking briskly is the acceptable way to get around. I mean, there's a sport for it after all, right? There are rules. The average walking pace is between 2.5 and 4 miles per hour. I accept no less than 7. And that's on weekends. Catch me on a Monday morning, I'm hitting double figures. When I do though, I'm like a swan in the street, passing by the crowds at an epic pace. I'm like the walking version of a police car with its siren on. You know how the car's parked? People just parked and off I go, 7 miles per hour. Not rushing, walking briskly. There is a big difference. Now, based on this, you'd assume that I get everywhere on time, right? Absolutely not. I actually have a very rare and debilitating condition called punctualitis. Punctualitis, the inability to be on time, literally a phobia of leaving enough time to get somewhere. It's like my brain decides it has to eke out every minute of the day and make every second count. So, instead of leaving enough time to get to the train station that takes 20 minutes, I decide I can hoover the whole house and get there in 2. Instead of listening to the airport recommendations and arriving 3 hours before your flight time, at the moment I need to leave, I take to the bathroom with mole spray. That takes 40 minutes to work. I don't know what I think is going to happen. Actually, I do. The pilot will wait for me. The plane will warm up. I can picture it now. They'll do laps up and down the runway, warm up the plane, and then descend the staircase with red carpet until I'm good and ready to board. Bullshit. Punctualitis. I got married earlier this year. Instead of getting to the church on time, I decided to water the plants and fill the ice trays with my lunch. Sorry, Julian, husband's in the house. Sorry about that. But punctualitis is an actual thing, and it's like I'm in this game, my own little game up against the clock. Dare I say, I do often win, which only makes this condition worse because there's proof that I can do it. Now, I used to be a broadcast journalist. Oh, that might get a little bit. I mean, I'm not in that career now, you'll shortly find out why. Anyway, I remember back in the day when I was doing the journalism stuff, I requested an interview with a senior member of the Education Committee, Edward Thistleton. Very important person, very busy man. It was key that I got this interview for this piece. I arrived at what I thought was the correct location. Slightly warm, still swan-like from the brisk walking, having walked the neighbour's cat instead of leading on mine. But I arrived and Edward wasn't there. I called him, he answered. He said his location was 10 minutes from where I was. He had to leave in 5. Interesting. I began my brisk walking. Wasn't enough. I could feel myself a little bit irritable. Feel my sweat dripping down my head. I was about to break all my rules. I fucking legged it. I ran as much fast as I could. I found myself rushing for the first time in my life. There I was, about to reach the venue, sweating, irritable, rushing. And I saw him. I saw Edward Thistleton about to get into a cab. My interview was slipping away from me. Involuntarily, I shouted at him, "You prick!" Understandably, I wasn't asked to do any more interviews. After that, in fact, they kicked me out of that job rather swiftly. I have learned a lot from that experience, though. In fact, I've learned a lot since. And I found something out the other day, which was really interesting. I was pondering one of those deep life questions that you get sometimes. Really sort of philosophical stuff. And the question that came to my mind was, where did our wisdom come from? niece this very question the other day. Auntie Jenna, you get your wisdom from your wisdom teeth, duh. Well, I've just had my wisdom teeth taken out. Why? Because they were hurting me. And now you're stupid, Auntie. I looked down at my niece. Child, do you know who I am? Your Auntie Jenna isn't just any old woman. She's effing superwoman. She walks at an average pace of 7 miles per hour. I am the most wisdomful, wise person in this family. I'll show you a CV of my achievements right here, right now. Other people might lose their wisdom when they take their wisdom teeth out. Not me, honey. Who the fuck does she think she is? The cheek of it. But it's true. I did get my wisdom teeth out recently. Just FYI. Based on the time it took and the recovery process, I must have had a lot of wisdom in my teeth. Dr. Pratt, the tooth remover, was like Mrs. Trunchbull in latex gloves and a surgical mask. Not a pretty sight. The first thing he said to me was that there were risks associated with the procedure based on the positioning of my teeth. But permanent damage was probably unlikely. Sorry, what? Permanent damage is probably unlikely. Oh, well that's okay. The pilot said the plane probably won't crash. My gynecologist told me that this infection probably isn't contagious. Sorry, Julian. And I probably won't lose control of half my mouth. The second thing that Dr. Pratt said to me, as he jabbed the needle full of anaesthetic into my mouth, was the updated price of £500 per tooth removal. He took my as my confirmation of the price. Yes, I know, good price, yes, very good. Stay there, you're fine. The final thing he did when the procedure was over, and I couldn't actually tell if I had in fact lost all control over my mouth, said something that was completely alien to me. Never really had this word before. He told me I had to rest for at least 3 days. Rest. R-E-S-T. What? If anything's going to kill me, it's going to be rest. I'm an on-the-go girl. I walk briskly everywhere. I juggle multiple balls. Doing nothing isn't on my radar. There's too much to do in this life to not know about my punctualitis. So what did my family decide to do to help me with this recovery period? Send my niece round to keep me company. The second thing that would kill me. I can confirm I'm still alive, just, according to her, minus all wisdom that I ever had in my body, but very much still in pain. Now I do need to love you and leave you because I have got a train to catch from London Bridge in about 8.5 minutes, so I better make it. You've been a lovely audience, thank you.
Let's do it. Get the energy, get the noise, get the clapping back up.
Some housekeeping at the top. It's going to be imperative at some point in this set that you guys are aware that the collective noun for unicorns is a blessing. Just keep that in mind. Anyway, so where do I want to start? So I've got a film pitch for you guys. So basically, it's the film King Richard, the biopic of Richard Williams, coach and father of Venus and Serena. But instead of tennis, it's darts. Okay, and predominantly it takes place in a garage in Dudley, and so the opening scene is father and son sitting in the garage, or standing in the garage with boxes around them, so saying Christmas decorations, hopes and dreams, and condensation is rising from the mouth, and they're just throwing dart after dart. The son's fingers are blistered, dart after dart at the dartboard, and the father's just saying unhelpful things like keep your neck straight and. Darts is like life, you just got to keep your eye on the point. And ultimately, then we cut to a montage, and instead of power bars and raw eggs, it's mini mince part, mini what's the, Scotch eggs? No, I'm looking for not anyway. This can be and then pints of bitter, and they just this 5-year-old just cramming them in and then practicing the 2 steps up to the oche. And then he's got one of those little, those little hand grips they have that sort of like that, but just for the thumb and the finger. Just that. And then he's got a little power bag there with just his little fingers like that. So anyway, some ideas for the title of this film. Live Darts, Die Young. Is there an amount of truth in that one? 180 days of summer. And Raging Bullseye. Yeah. So if anyone is thinking of investing, I think you probably need to know a few things about me, the man behind the lens. Firstly, you should probably know about me is I'm dyslexic. I'm going to assume you know what that means, don't need me to spell it out for you. I'm currently going through a bit of a feud with my flatmate at the moment. He rang me the other day and he said, in an escalation of our feud, he said, I've taken one of your Heinz Brands tins and I've emptied the contents all over your bedroom. And I pressed him to say what kind of tin it was, but he wouldn't spill the beans. Later that evening, I was supposed to be meeting up with another friend, and we were going to talk about our favourite current monarchs, but I suggested a rain check. This includes the one-liner interlude. You're all welcome. Again, guys, unicorn's blessing. Keep that in there. Remember that. So I would also like to use this platform to talk about my general issue with smartphones. So smartphones in general, I understand that there are pros. For instance, I'm still in contact with some of my school friends whose opinions have drifted into areas that I'm frankly not comfortable with. And I get to congratulate them when they marry boring people and have ugly babies. That does remind me, Alex, thank you for coming out tonight. I know it's been really difficult getting a babysitter for Quentin. So my issue is that ultimately, smartphones I find are the death of discourse. That intellectual high point, included in part of the ticket price, don't you worry. Death of discourse. So it's basically, it used to be that you'd go to the pub and you would, the amount of times I've had to Google now what the sexy green M&M looks like to show my friends, I've got a photo from my phone thinks I'm sick. But ultimately, the problem therein lies that it robs my friends of the opportunity of hearing me try and describe how an M&M can be sexy. It's in the legs if you're interested. So it used to be that if you really doubled down on your misinformation, you could turn the table at the end of the evening, pre-smartphones, you could convince your friends that day was night, that ant was deck, that all the different coloured M&Ms had different flavours. Some of them are sexier than others. But so me and my friends, and we've come up with this, we've got a new rule, basically, no phones at the pub table. Now this is working in the sense that our conversations have become far less informed and infinitely more circular. There is, however, one drawback, and that is in this smartphone era, we've become so dependent on them, our recall has become appalling. And there is a lot of standing around just going, you know the guy. He wears sunglasses, got a goatee, sort of looks like a cannibal whose wife's trying to keep him on the straight and narrow. And you spend about 45 minutes trying to recall the name on the tip of your tongue, you're absent from the conversation, and then eventually you give in, you Google a few choice phrases, and you find out that it's Steven Seagal. There is nothing less satisfying than half remembering Steven Seagal for 45 minutes, and then finding out it's Steven Seagal, a man who has gone on record to say that his relationship with Vladimir Putin is like brothers, over the Kremlin have said you might have seen a couple of his films. A man who has also gone on record numerous times to talk about how he helped to run the Japanese Yakuza out of Tokyo. However, his wife at the time said he might have once choked a drunk guy out of the dojo. So anyway, in conclusion on that bit, I'm indifferent to smartphones. Steven Seagal is annoying. That's pretty much me. I do have one more, I've got one last thing I'm going to talk to you about. I've got a story I want to tell, and it's, it was at home last week. I was on my own. There was a storm. The rain was lashing against the windows. thunder and lightning, the power went out. There was a knock at the door. I went down, opened the door, and in the darkness, there was a number of dark figures that were hooded and shrouded in cloaks. I was petrified. I stood there, glued to the spot. Eventually, the cloaks, all in unison, took their hoods down. It was a group of unicorns. And I guess it was a blessing in disguise. Right, we got 2 more acts. Let's get the energy and love. Please welcome the wonderful Hussain.
Hey, what's going on, people? So, do we have anyone single in here today? Your hand went up very quick, so... So, I'm sure you'll have been told the saying, love will come when you stop looking. Yeah? It's not true. It's not true. Take it from me, I'm single, and I stopped looking 9 months ago, and the only thing that came was a despairing sense of loneliness. What an absolute bullshit saying. It's like, imagine if you go to the job centre and they say to you, oh, you'll find a job when you stop looking, whilst they shred your CV in front of you. Yeah, it is kind of, that saying is kind of bullshit. And it's, I mean, the thing is, even the ancient Greeks knew that finding love would be a complete crapshoot. I mean, they gave us Plato and Socrates, and they also gave us the Cupid, a baby with a bow and arrow and really shitty aim. Like, if the Cupid was real, he'd be in a juvenile detention centre for holding an illegal firearm and ruining my 20s. Even in my religion, our God knows that finding love is hard. So I'm Hussain and I'm Muslim. And when I go to heaven, God's going to give me 72 virgins. It does have one catch. I would need to start a holy war. I did try to, but the folks at the East London Mosque weren't too keen on following a jihadi who sounds like Louis Theroux. The thing is, I'm genuinely worried 72 won't be enough. God just assumes throwing that many at me, surely one of them will fall in love with me, but he completely overestimates my game. I think I'm going to start getting worried at number 67 in line when she chooses eternal celibacy over a second date. Back to New York. So, in Indian culture, we don't rely on the gods or on dating skills. Your parents just arrange your marriage. Maybe some of you think that arranged marriages are awful because everyone should have a right to choose. But one thing the human race has taught me is we suck at choosing what's good for us. For example, the American electorate chose Donald Trump. The great British public kept Matt Hancock in the jungle for way too long. And Kim Jong-un chose that haircut. Arranged marriages are a bit like communism. You take what you're given, you do it because everyone else does, and you make the best of it. Dating, on the other hand, is like capitalism. Some people have to work really hard, and others have just got bigger assets. Given the choice between the two, I'd still always choose Gucci over a gulag. There is a third option that I'm considering, dictatorship. I actually quite like the idea of ruling with an iron fist, whilst rocking a North Korean bowl cut. The worst part about relationships are the breakup talk. Like, no matter how much I steel myself up for that breakup conversation, it's so tough when you get those 4 horrible words. Oh, I love you. And you still have to steel yourself through and power through the guilt and do the right thing. My last relationship, breaking up was a lot easier because the 4 words I got were, you're going to pay. It was, after that breakup, I moved back in with my parents, and, well, the thing is, before me and my ex broke up, she caught COVID and she had to stay in my shitty rundown flat. I genuinely felt really bad having to live in that toxic slum for 10 long days.
That poor coronavirus. Moving back home was really tough, actually. Well, actually, you know what? Before I moved back, I did have to break up with her, and I summoned up all my masculine energy, my bravery and my boldness, and I delivered the breakup talk. And then afterwards, I slept like an absolute baby. By that, I mean I woke up crying every 3 hours. My mum looked after me, and I ate nothing but mashed potatoes. It was, moving back in with my parents was really tough, tougher than I thought. The problem is, Asian parents see their kids like a pension scheme. They invest money and time into educating us when we're young, for us to pay them back and look after them and stay with them when they get old. Telling them I'm moving out, it goes against that scheme. It's like your pension scheme being bought by Elon Musk. Retires everyone, and then makes Kanye West head of social media accounts. I have no idea about pensions. My best bet of getting a good pension is if by the time I turn 67, euthanasia has become legal. My parents are also quite... He's after it, by the way. The thing is, my parents are quite pushy. They also, I think they think it motivates me. One thing I've noticed that tennis players' parents, they take that motivational thing way too far. They're all absolute psychopaths. For example, Venus Williams' dad, King Richard, made a return here. He moved his family from sunny Long Beach, California, to Compton, famous for gang violence, in order to instill toughness into his girls. Eerily echoed by my dad, who moved from sunny Tanzania, the home of Hakuna Matata, to Croydon. Also famous for gang violence, but I'm not up. I wish he'd just gone the whole way and fired tennis balls at me when I was like 3 years old. I grew up with all the shambolic parenting, but none of the success. I think I'm starting to get the feeling that my parents are kind of losing faith in me. Although, when I did move back in with them, they kind of, I told them that I'm getting over the breakup and I'll move back out once I find someone who falls in love with me. And they were like, that's amazing. And they hugged each other and they took me out for a celebratory dinner. It was only afterwards I reflected and I realised they just assumed that meant I'll be living with them forever. My mum is so overprotective that she thinks that Home Alone is a horror movie. And she always guilt trips me. She literally said to me, if you leave, there's no point for us to even live anymore. As if I need extra motivation to So, they're justified in telling me even Jesus went back to live with his parents. Well, parent. I kind of feel like Jesus gets way too much credit though. Everyone says he's such a great guy, but wasn't he celibate? Men only commit sins for the same reason that they do yoga classes, to impress women. The thing is, if Jesus wasn't celibate, I wonder if he'd use his powers for evil. I can imagine him sitting in the corner of the student union, turning tipsy girls' water back into wine, and saying real creepy shit like, I shall be thy shepherd. I started reading the Bible, and one thing I realised was that God in the Old Testament, there's no way that he's Indian, or he's Indian, or she's Indian. I'm very inclusive there. No way that's Indian. Because, put it this way, if my mum was the God of the Old Testament, that book would be very different. She'd be like, Adam, why do you want to leave? We have such a lovely garden. Be careful about Eve. She dresses very provocative. On the 5th day, I created a banana leaf for her to dress with. And she decided to traipse around with a tiny little fig leaf over her hoo-ha. Filthy woman. Stay home here with us forever. Don't worry. Love will come when you stop looking. And then that would be the end of the Bible. And also the end of my sentence.
Are you now treated by our headline
month it's like, on the first day of December, this is what I drank, 1 glass of red wine. And then I get more towards the middle of the month, and it's like, on the 12th day of December, this is what I drank, 12 shots of tequila, let me be, and so on and so forth. So by the time New Year's Eve comes around, my body is no longer 60% H2O, it's 60% Merlot. Alright, it's really not that funny. I'm getting older and I need to like seriously reduce my drinking. I just had a really special birthday. I turned the big 3-0. All my friends are here. No, I turned the big 3-8. And you know, like I'm not really worried about birthday milestones, but I do love it when younger people come up to me and they're like, "Oh, Katie, don't worry about turning 40. 40 is the new 20." 40 is the new 20? What the heck does that mean? Does that mean I can quit my anxiety-inducing job and go back to waiting tables? Where my only worry was if table 7 got their side of mashed potatoes? No, it's not. Can I take my 6-year-old son and just push him way back up there? Into the uterus from whence he came? No, I can't. Sorry, little Arthur. Can I go back to pulling all-nighters? Going out and playing blackjack and blowing lines? Well, maybe last Tuesday. No, Sally, 40 is not the new 20. You know, look, like aging gets a really bad rap. So many things get better as you get older. One of them is the food gets better at parties. So when you're when you're in your 20s, like the most amount of sustenance you get is maybe like a softening crinkle in the bottom of the bowl, or if you're lucky, maybe a rip of someone's bong. And then all of a sudden you're in your 30s and you don't even turn up at parties unless it's a full sit-down dinner from an Ottolenghi cookbook. No wonder I'm gaining weight. Thanks for that, Hussain. Another thing that gets better as you get older is like your levels of FOMO just totally recede. So when you're in your 20s, you're always like, oh my god, I must get invited to Sally's Christmas party. How else am I going to flirt with all the guys in my sexy reindeer costume? And then you get married, you have kids, you get closer to 40, and you're like, oh my god, I hope I don't get invited to Sally's Christmas party. I don't care about dicks, I just want to watch Netflix. That was a cheap one, but thanks for laughing. So talking about Netflix, wow, they're doing some really incredible stuff. Their algorithm that matches people with movies is basically like the Myers-Briggs personality test in the 21st century. You can learn so much about someone by the movies they match with. I recently learned that I'm not the creative counterculture woman I thought I was when I was a 100% match with Lindsay Lohan's new movie, Falling for Christmas. It was awesome, by the way. No, it just turns out I'm every woman I've always hated. Okay, so Christmas shopping season is upon us. My mom called me the other day and she's like, Kate, what's on your Christmas wish list this year? And I'm like, Mom, you don't need to get me anything. You and Dad already gave the best gift you could give a child. You got a divorce. Anyone else here have divorced parents? Anyone? Yeah. Tim, that explains everything. Emily, that's why we're good friends. Everyone else with their hands down. They're like, I knew. I come from a very healthy, stable family. Alright. Well, the good thing about having divorced parents, it basically means you have the best excuse for life. You flunk an exam in college, it's not because you were on a 3-day bender, your parents got divorced. You average a bottle of wine a day for the past decade, it's not because you're an alcoholic, your parents got divorced. You struggle to build and maintain long-term healthy relationships, it's not because you're a psychopath, your parents got divorced. No, like, isn't Christmas supposed to be a meritocracy? Like, isn't Santa making a list and checking it twice and finding out who's naughty or nice? If Santa gave a 2-year-old an annual review, it would look something like this. You caused 37 verbal arguments. You reduced the household sleep time by 62%. And you shat yourself 453 times. If Santa was really a good modern-day businessman, he'd be like, fuck no! With the cost of inflation, only kids over the age of 5 are getting Christmas presents this year. Unless, of course, you're a girl, and then it's over the age of 10. Hey, okay, I'm being a little harsh on Santa here. There's actually some new theory that shows that Santa may actually be a little bit ahead of its time. A professor from the University of Edinburgh launched this theory that Santa's reindeer are in fact all female. And his argument is that both male and female reindeer have antlers, and male reindeer tend to shed their antlers before December every year. Whew. So that age-old question of how the heck does Santa make it to every house across the world before Christmas morning is finally answered. He put women in charge. So the professor posted this theory on social media and it went viral. And one woman commented, she's like, "Oh my God, Santa's reindeer are all female. I've never felt so empowered." And I'm like, what? Like, I'm a little bit scared by the fact that the only business that we have in the world that has 9 women navigating the course is in some fictional folklore. Another guy, and a likely Trump 2024 campaign supporter, said, he was like, hold on. Is nothing sacred anymore? I have a different theory. Male reindeer who have been castrated, they keep their antlers. So in fact, Santa's reindeer might still be male. Whew. You gotta love a man that hates women so much he'd rather cut the nuts on television sex than let a woman lead the charge. You know, I think this guy might be onto something actually. Finally, that age-old question of how the hell does Santa make it to every house across the world before Christmas morning is clear again. He put castrated men in charge. All right, y'all. Thanks so much. This has been so much fun. I really need a cocktail right now. Anyone have a drink menu? Tim, you got anything? No, you don't have a drink menu. All right, we'll have a couple of ideas. 12 shots of tequila. Aperol spritzes, 8 espresso martinis, 7 French martinis, 6 dirty martinis. I really like martinis.